not going to believe the mock draft that Dane Brugler has put out for the Cleveland Browns. They're projected to make a major trade, according to the expert from The Athletic. Let's dive into this. Is it good? Is it bad for Cleveland? We'll talk about it. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue. Welcome into the show. And if you want more draft content, if the Browns keep losing, and you want to look ahead, how can we fix this thing early by next year? Hit the subscribe button. Comment if you enjoy the draft content. Let me know if the Browns are going to keep losing, if we got to keep looking ahead. Hit the sub button. You're not going to want to miss this. Oh, sorry. So Dane Brugler of The Athletic starts off by saying this. I don't like projecting trades in mock drafts, especially my first one of the cycle. But if the Titans and Giants finish with the top two picks, as it stands now, there will be movement early. I think that's absolutely correct. If Tennessee is picking first overall again and the Giants are in the top two, well, those guys aren't going to take quarterbacks. They've got their Cam Ward, they got their Jackson Dart, but what it does do is offer a lot of enticing trade value for a team that would spend a lot to move up and get their quarterback. Here's some teams near the top that could make a move like that. The Saints, maybe, but most likely I think it's the Jets and the Raiders that would move up to get a Mendoza or big-name quarterback like that. Cleveland Browns, a lot of people think will. Cardinals also clearly going to move on from Kyler Murray. So any of these teams would be willing to make the trade. And what does Dane Brugler have as the team that will make the deal? It's the Cleveland Browns. Look at this that he mocked up. This is what he thinks is going to happen. The Browns trade both of our first-round picks this year, the one from Jacksonville that we acquired, and also our pick that will probably be pretty high, and probably a day 2 selection the year after that. And in return, we get the Titans' number 1 overall pick that they have over a 50% chance to end up with, and the Browns take their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. I hate it. No, please, no. We're going to spend both of our first-round picks to draft another young quarterback prospect? No, that's way too much. If you get the pick, that's a different story. But no, I'm not down to go all in. Let's do something fun here. Let's go try a little analogy, a la a Colin Cowherd or something like that, okay? Fernando Mendoza is the girl next door. Beautiful, great body, size. Of course you think you want to be with her. But you don't have your shit together. You're the Cleveland Browns. Your life's a mess. You can't get into a relationship right now. And it may seem like there's not a lot of options, and this one's convenient. She's right next door. One of the only ones available this year. But you are not ready for that relationship. You're going to mess it up. Think about all your other failed relationships that didn't work out. You're going to ruin this one too. And Mendoza, maybe he'll go on to be a good quarterback. You know, maybe she is a great girlfriend. But you're never going to reach that full potential with you, the mess of a system, the Cleveland Browns. You still live with your parents, which is Kevin Stefanski, in an awful system with awful rules, bad at development. This relationship will not flourish until you fix your issues, okay? I'm talking clean house, build up the offensive line, get some wide receivers, some targets, make yourself more valuable, and then start the relationship. I don't think Mendoza this year is going to be a difference maker, game changer, turn the Cleveland Browns season around. So I wouldn't start that relationship just yet. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Others that will come in future years. Some great draft class coming ahead. I don't think you need to go all in, take the massive swing to get one right now this year. But Dane Brugler seems pretty high on Mendoza. Let's take a look at what he had to say about the quarterback and his skill set. Mendoza, who NFL scouts compare to Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins, won't wow with his arm velocity or speed, but his football intelligence, both pre- and post-snap, separates him. He has an outstanding feel for playing on time and layering throws to attack vulnerable spots in the defense with just enough mobility to avoid sacks at an encouraging rate. The Browns will like Mendoza for a lot of the same reasons they liked Gabriel, except Mendoza has better physical attributes and a higher upside. Okay, that part of the quote right there, the same reasons they liked Gabriel, that doesn't make me want to draft him. What? Are you kidding me? Hell no. And obviously, he's a much bigger quarterback than Dylan Gabriel, so I don't even know where we're making that comparison here. But the other part of it that Brugler said that impressed him, he's like a Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins. Those quarterbacks would not save our franchise. It's making me even more out of it. I thought the 6'5", everybody's raving on him, that maybe he's like a Josh Allen or Drake May. No, they're saying Goff or Cousins, who are also quarterbacks that need a system. This goes back to my point, my analogy. The Cleveland Browns don't have the system right now. You don't have it. You don't have the safe space for players to develop, for quarterbacks to develop. When everybody that's been there looks like trash when they take the field, whose fault is that? I mean, seriously, Gabriel, Watson, Flacco, Winston, everybody looks bad. That's an issue in the organization. That's a coaching issue. That's a result of a bad offensive line, a lack of wide receiver targets. Jury's still out on Shedeur. I'd like to see a couple more games before I throw him into that mix. I think he's shown the most flashes of the quarterbacks on the roster this year, so we'll get to him later. But the point is, I think you need to load up and make it so there's no excuse for the next quarterback you bring in. But bringing in another young quarterback and giving up that much to get him, I'm not in on it. But you let me know, Browns fans, would you make this trade? Would you give up our 2 first-round picks and a day 2 next year to get Mendoza? Type Y for yes, type N for no. You got to really believe in him to think that we should do this. You really got to think he's the guy of the future to make that investment. And I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to do that. We shall see. I'm going to talk about what they actually will do, though. What is the most likely situation for the Browns starting quarterback day 1 next year? I got some insight that's going to give you a little bit of an inkling of what it could look like. But first, let's talk about our friends over at Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It is all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right. Prize Picks. I love this app. It's fun. I win money. And because I cover the Browns, it helps me know what picks to make. When the coaches talk about getting Jerry Jeudy more involved, I pick more on his projections, and I was right. When they say we got to take more deep shots, and we will with Shedeur, I pick them more. And new feature alert, Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. I'm trying to cash in this Sunday in Browns-Titans. Cam Ward, more than half an interception. I think he'll be under pressure. He's going to throw one. Quinshon Judkins, more than half a touchdown. Also, more than half a passing touchdown for Shedeur, and more than 124.5 passing yards. He's done that every week as the starter. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. The other part of this quarterback equation for the Cleveland Browns is it really does depend on what Shedeur Sanders does in these next few games. If this back half of the season, if he earns the job to start for the rest of the year, he controls his destiny in a way. He can show enough flashes, enough promise. And again, the Brown system is so bad, it doesn't have to look perfect, but it has to look like, okay, maybe we could build around this guy. Maybe we could load up and have him be in contention to start next year, as well as number 4, Deshaun Watson, who we now know is healthy, or at least medically cleared to be back at practice in a limited fashion, and he's under contract next year. It's the last year of the deal. We're almost out of it. But a lot of the Cleveland Browns' issues right now are sort of a domino effect of the Watson deal, of the 3 first-round picks you gave up to get him. And so, yeah, it looks gross on offense this year and last year, but Watson's practice window has been opened. He's there on Wednesday. And so maybe it's one more year of dealing with this, of seeing if Watson has anything left in the tank since you've made that massive investment in him, and Shedeur because you drafted him late and there's potential in number 12, and you use this draft to load up. That might be the Cleveland Browns scenario. I think it's more likely that they would trade down their top pick than trade all the way up to draft another quarterback. I don't think people that say that are watching this Cleveland Browns team. I mean, every quarterback that's played has had some issues. Every quarterback on the depth chart has struggled or been kicked off the depth chart, like Flacco and Pickett. And now Watson, who was really bad when he played last year, is going to be in this mix once again. So don't you think it's a little bit more likely that Cleveland finishes out this Watson deal in 2026, the last year of the contract, see if there's anything left with him, see if there's anything with Shedeur, build up that system in the draft, and then once you've got the linemen, once you've got the receivers, and you've got a full evaluation for a year of Shedeur, now you can start looking to the quarterbacks the year after, which might actually be a stacked class. Julian Sayin, Ohio State Buckeye, would be eligible. Arch Manning, I think it's more likely he goes in 2027 than this year. DJ Lagway, Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes look-alike, by the way. These are some options that could be available the year after, and you'll have a much better system by that point, hopefully. I mean, if you don't, it's a joke, and sell the team, fire everybody. But don't you think that's a more realistic plan for the Cleveland Browns than trading 2 firsts to get Mendoza right now and rushing it? Here's what I think the plan is. Load up on offensive linemen. Load up on a couple good wide receivers. Use one of your first-round picks to get one. Evaluate Shedeur Sanders the back half of this year. If he shows the flashes, roll with him next year with your new rookies in the better system. If you have the balls to do it, fire the coaches. Get rid of them. Get rid of Stefanski. I think Andrew Berry's on the hot seat as well. Get a new regime. Get rid of every excuse. And now, full steam ahead to find the quarterback, to find the guy. Once you have everything built around it, because we just have not had luck with the quarterback. And so, if Shedeur doesn't look like the guy that we think he was, experts thought he was, and Watson's obviously done, then draft your quarterback in 27 or 28 after everything else is figured out, because the defense is already fine. That's the plan. But if you were the GM, what would you do? What would you do if you were in charge of the Cleveland Browns? Comment your plan down below. Where's your first step? Let me know in the comment section, because we need the savior. We need to fix this offense immediately while we have this good defense. I want to be contending. So what's the plan? Let me know if you were Andrew Berry. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss content like this, folks. Draft season is approaching more rapidly than we thought. We'll be here to cover you with everything Cleveland Browns for it. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. Got quarterback updates for you all day long. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. We'll see you next time.